Demetrius McNeil and Arlaina Harris are the dynamic force behind OurGlass Consulting, a Syracuse-based leadership firm revolutionizing how organizations approach workplace excellence and authentic engagement. As founder and CEO and co-founder, respectively, this engaged power couple combines Demetrius's business acumen, backed by dual degrees in business analytics and marketing from Lemoyne College, with Arlaina's Syracuse University master's degrees in social work expertise to deliver transformative results. Together, they've built a consultancy on the powerful premise that success begins with everyone. Their innovative leadership development approach has equipped countless mid-level and senior managers with sustainable strategies that foster truly collaborative environments where employees thrive authentically. Demetrius now partners with Arlaina to help organizations master conflict management, cross-cultural communication, and meaningful employment engagement, reducing turnover while dramatically improving workplace culture. Through their visionary leadership, this inspiring duo is reshaping what it means to create workplaces and spaces where everyone feels valued, empowered, and positioned for both personal and professional success. This power couple is transforming workplace culture.
Wow.
Hello.
Thank you.
Hello. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. First and foremost, Arlaina, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Happy birthday.
Yes.
How does this birthday feel?
Honestly, like a blessing. It's just a gift being here. I've just kind of been on a journey of like doing things afraid and, healing. And so this is definitely, I feel like, all in alignment. So appreciate you opening your space and having us.
Absolutely.
Sure.
My pleasure. So this is my first, too. This is my first time actually interviewing two people at once.
Oh,
Wow.
yes.
So Jesus, take the wheel.
Right.
Right. We're going to figure it out together.
Absolutely. So I'm sorry, I just jumped right into it. Let's first start, tell me who you guys are, individually, collectively, wherever you want to start. I'm open.
Okay. Go for it.
So, I'm Arlaina. I am a Black woman. I am a fiance. I'm a daughter. I'm a sister.
Yes.
I'm a social worker. I like to consider myself a wellness advocate and a student of life, for sure. I'm just on a journey of trying to find out what joy means to me and leaning into that radically and with love and compassion. We try to do that in our work as well. So, yeah.
You said a mouthful.
I did.
And I'm going to come back to everything that touched me inside of that. So we might not ever get to Demetrius if I start there. So
I'm okay with that. That was amazing. But Demetrius McNeil, thanks again for having us on your
pleasure.
show. Born and raised in Washington, D.C. I'm a transplant to Syracuse. I've been here for about 10 years. Met Arlaina within my first year. And after I got my degrees, we just kind of decided to just build our life together here and build a business and then ultimately just connect with folks in the region and just kind of developed a little bit of a tribe. So it feels nice.
Okay. You guys met in Syracuse.
Yes.
I like to think that Syracuse is a magical place.
It is.
It is.
I don't care what anybody says.
I complained for the first 2 years about the winters.
Okay.
But
That's valid.
after the first 2 years, you kind of realize that the pace of Syracuse is perfect. Coming from a busy city like D.C., Syracuse had a way of slowing me down. And I was so grateful for that. And so we traveled together, and we go back and visit my family in D.C., but it's nothing like coming back to Syracuse. It's like, we home.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a strange thing.
Yeah. How did you guys meet?
Oh, wow. You want my version or you want her version?
I want both versions.
They've been reconciling a little bit lately.
Yeah, they've been merging.
But I love how you
love
kind
how I
of
say
share
it.
it. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, so 2015, it was September, and it was the second week of classes for me at Lemoyne. And this was back before they had the Keenan Entrepreneurship Center there. It was like the Lemoyne Plaza.
Okay.
But they had like a pizza shop in there. They had like a Dunkin' in there. And I was in between classes just going to grab coffee. And I walked in through the double doors, and she was sitting kind of off to the side. Mm-hmm. And when I went in, it was I describe it as like a divine intervention, because I just walked over to her. I was coming to get coffee. Mm-hmm. And I just walked over and I said, "Excuse me, like, would you mind watching my bag?"
Now, was that like you're opening that you did on purpose, or you just needed some help?
So,
right.
I promise you, I still to this day can explain it. But the question was like, why am I over here? And like, I need to get out of here and like regroup for a second. So went to the restroom, then came back and had a conversation and see if she went to Lemoyne as well. And then she was like, "No, I graduated from U of R in 2014. And I'm just like, okay.
I didn't say it like that.
She didn't say it like that, but I'm like, all right, I got to start over again.
Okay.
So we started talking, and I said, "Hey, I'm new to Syracuse. Have you ever been to Lemoyne's campus?" She said, "No." I said, "Listen, I'll show you around campus if you show me around Syracuse." And she was the first person that I had met here who was not from campus, but also within my age group. So it was really nice to just kind of build that authentic friendship for about 8-9 months, and just kind of get to learn about the city a little bit. And it was just a really nice groove that we had going. And then April of 2016, I was like, "Hey, I would love to date you." I cooked dinner for her. And my mom taught me right. So.
Right.
Oh yeah. So I shot my shot big time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know we spoke before. You have sisters. You're like the only boy out of many
I'm the
sisters.
youngest. I'm the youngest of 3 sisters. I'm sorry, 4 siblings. So I got 3 older sisters, and it was just my mom and us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, Arlaina, you're from Syracuse.
I'm from Syracuse, born and raised. Grew up on the South Side.
Okay.
Went to all Syracuse City School all Syracuse City schools. I went away to school at Rochester, but I always say I was kind of like just a foot, like a step out.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go too far. And then came right back to Syracuse and been here ever since.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, take me back to the old plaza.
Okay, yes.
And because I remember, I go all the way back with that plaza when they used to sell fried chicken and it was a corner store.
Oh, wow.
So you guys got the bougie version.
Oh, my goodness.
I
didn't
would
even
have
know
wanted the
that.
fried chicken.
Right. I would have loved to see it then. Yeah.
Okay, so you're at the plaza.
Yeah, minding
you're
my
sitting
business.
down.
Right. So before I got my car, I used to take Central to go to work because I was working on Salt Springs at Elmcrest Children's Center.
Oh, okay.
So I would get the bus early, hang out at the plaza before I, get my mind right before I go to work. So I'm in full like chilling mode. Like I'm trying to, reset, make sure I'm getting my mind right. So when he walked in and he was approaching me, it was one of those like very unexpected, like, experiences just in terms of I could tell that he was a student, but that he was a little older. I could tell that he was very genuine. I wasn't sure if he really needed me to watch his bag, but it didn't come off as like, oh, I'm trying something or anything that was disingenuine. So I was happy to watch his bag. And then, a few minutes go by and I'm like, I really hope this is a number 1 and not a number 2 because I got to go to work and this bag's going to get left. Right, exactly. So when he came back out and, we were kind of chatting or whatever the case may be, it just felt like a very natural embrace, I got very good energy. I was actually dating someone at the time.
Okay.
So I remember us kind of exchanging numbers, which is not something that I typically do, like at all. And I remember us kind of having that follow-up conversation. I'm like, listen, I don't know if this is what your intention is, but I just want to be clear, like I am dating someone and he was just very understanding and like, oh, like, thank you for telling me. But now I just kind of want to get to know you more and get to know Syracuse more. So we really had like a solid, friendship for, like you said, 8 to 9 months. And that relationship was kind of heading down a not so good of a path anyway. But, I kind of kept that separate and we just kind of had a nice platonic, relationship and or friendship. And it just grew into something very magical. So yeah.
Absolutely. That is amazing. I have so many things to say, but I feel like you guys should come back and we should just start like talk about dating. Like and the do's and don'ts and all those things.
Yeah.
But we have to talk about your mission right now, which dare I say mission in life right now. And you mentioned your healing journey, which always coincides with your mission in life.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And OurGlass Consulting, and that's OurGlass Consulting. Tell us about that. How did you guys come to saying, you know what, I'm going to do us right now. We're going to do us as far as business goes and our livelihood and all those things. What are some steps as we're talking about the pivot place, right? Your pivot from corporate or let's say just a traditional job, moving into the faith that it takes to your own.
Yeah.
Well, I would say personally, so I grew up in a very traditional household. So my father was an immigrant from Trinidad. My mom was born in Manhattan, raised in the Bronx. And so it was definitely very instilled in us to have work ethic and to make sure that we had, that we were very well-rounded so that we could have competitive college applications. And after college, you get a good job and then you stay at that job or you get promotions and then you retire, right? So that was kind of the path that was laid out. And I have 2 older siblings that were super overachievers, high achievers. And I feel like even from a young age, I feel that like my mind, body, and spirit kind of rejected that traditional sense of like, boom, boom, boom. Like this is how life has to be. But I didn't necessarily feel like I had the agency to choose or to give myself like permission to explore music, for example, or like my creative kind of wild side. So I feel like...
Let's pause right there.
Yeah.
What you and music got to do with each other? I need to know. I'm trying to get to know you.
Yes,
do you
absolutely.
sing?
So I do sing. I used to be in theater. I used to do plays. I love dancing. I was dancing in college.
Nice.
So I actually had like one of my like big dreams is to be a DJ.
Okay.
So I've definitely had so much love and passion for music and exploring that in all of its forms. But again, didn't think it was a realistic career path, right? And so I say that just as a foundation because entrepreneurship is not something that I even thought was in the cards for me. And I credit that to our relationship just in terms of us being able to have a partnership that challenges us to think outside of maybe what we've been socialized or what's traditional. And so I think we're having experiences within our respective jobs where we just kind of felt like leadership, management, we couldn't show up as ourselves. We felt very micromanaged. There wasn't like a core foundational like relationship centered way that we were being either welcome to spaces or able to grow professionally. We didn't feel like our personal and professional development were necessarily being invested in. And so it was actually us and another partner who she had kind of like an accounting background. So me, I'm human service, Dee's like marketing and business, and she's like accounting. And we're kind of getting together, having these conversations, really like venting sessions of just like, yo, like what is going on? Like work was a huge stressor. We're, showing up, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, wanting to do our best, wanting to give our all. And just, it got to a point where I think all of us were, getting to a space where we didn't feel like we could do this anymore. We didn't think that this structure was like conducive to our health, our well-being, our fulfillment. So we were like, in what ways can we kind of branch off and do something that can kind of pivot us in a way to elevate who we feel like we truly are and in ways that are more aligned. So D kind of...
And what I'll say to that is like, I love the way you framed it. And the conversations really started to happen where we didn't want to run away from the challenges that we all were facing and our peers were facing. And so it's easy to pivot away completely and say, you know what, I'm gonna just look in a different direction. But we decided to like look at the problem and say, okay, instead of just going somewhere different, what are these challenges that we faced, and how can we bring a solution to help address them? And so when we all got together doing these like venting sessions, I would have to credit Arlaina, and our other former partner was Kate Waltman. She's no longer with us. She was working at the Community Foundation for the Bonadillo Group.
Okay.
And she got a job at KPMG in Australia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she's brilliant. And we didn't even think twice. I was like, hey, you got to go. And this was like probably 8 months after we like launched the business. And so...
so it was meant for you to
it was meant for us.
Collaborate.
Exactly.
Strongly. I love that.
But even when we talked about the name, OurGlass, like how did that come about? Well, what was the one thing that was impacting all of us? And we looked at it and he said, well, our time. It's like we're spending this amount of time and this amount of energy within these spaces and our peers, and we don't feel a sense of fulfillment. So how can we generate or create a service-based model that's based off improving that? And so that's where the name OurGlass came from. Just looking at the amount of time, I think the average person today spends about 92,000 hours working in their lifetime. And so it was like, well, the majority of that time should be spent feeling fulfilled by what it is that you do, feeling like your job is a part of a vocation, so to speak, and you're able to be of service to the people, your family, and the world around you. And so that's really where it became, like you said, that personal mission. And it took some time for us to get there. You know, it was definitely a journey. So you kind of mentioned both of our work histories and things that we were doing. So it took us a couple of years to really kind of completely pivot to giving this a lot more time, energy, and effort. But we also had to find like-minded people who also believed in the vision. And not just peers, right? We're talking about people who are HR folks. We're talking about CEOs and presidents of organizations and companies and executive directors who wanted the change as well. And so it wasn't about just going out and creating something so we can just, live the dream, make a lot of money or whatever. It was like, no, it was purpose-driven work. We want to work with people who care about this and what it is that we're trying to do. And so, because we care about each other in that way. So.
There's a quote that I use all the time, and I sure wish I knew who said it, but I still say it. But it says, what bothers you most is what you've been called to fix. And I feel like that resonates within, it's just not an organization that you guys started because, it's needed. Yeah, it's needed, right?
Yeah.
But it bothered you too, both to the core and to the bone, enough to Arlaina to organize these venting sessions, well, whether they were organized or not, to take time, out of that other time that was being taken up by these positions. And instead of looking for a new position, which is something that we all do, it's just like, oh, okay, well, let's look for something else. It's like, no, let's see, let's
sit in this.
Let's sit in it and see how it can really make manifest in our lives. So I love that for you guys. You mentioned also having to find ideally the clientele that could look through their own looking glass and say, yeah, we need this, right? Because that admittance sometimes makes people feel like failure.
100%.
What was your approach on that, especially for other organizations or individuals that can turn their gifts into consulting services, right? But the next step after being a consultant is having clientele. What was your approach with that?
I will say it changed. Initially, we wanted to help everybody. We looked at an organization or company and was like, we want to talk to everybody. We want to help everybody. Every voice matters. And every voice does matter.
Right.
And through mentorship and people and our business advisors and things like that, they said, well, let's focus on adding value. Let's not focus on trying to change the world today, right? Great things happen with little things and excellence. So we just kind of restructured our model a little bit a few years ago. and started to focus on just the bottleneck, right? That mid-level manager, that senior level manager, and started just to have normal conversations with folks who fit that description.
Yeah.
And these themes kept coming up around, affirmation of their leadership skills, right? Or looking at things like leadership communication, and especially in a nonprofit world where Arlaina has a lot of experience working with people who typically don't have a lot of capacity.
Right.
It's like, how do you refill, right? How do we refill their cup
Right.
so that they can keep doing the hard work and serving the community?
Yeah.
And so finding a clientele became, for us, a journey of figuring out who is, number one, serving nonprofit organizations, because they typically don't have a lot of the room in their budget for professional development. It's a crazy statistic by Cause IQ that says, like, out of the 4,200 like nonprofit organizations in Central New York, 1,100 of them, right, are like actually operating nonprofits, right, where they like actually are doing taxes. And you take that 1,100 of the nonprofits, and like 80% of them have an operating budget of $250,000 or less.
Okay.
So there's a lot of organizations who don't have a huge budget to pay for our services to make sure that they can get the support. And when we looked at that, we said, they still need the help. How do we meet them where they're at? And so that's where it became an opportunity to work with, wonderful foundations like the Gifford Foundation or the Community Foundation of Central New York to really partner with them to deliver these services to the organizations so that they can still get that refill. So it was just a different, like a pivot in strategy, so to speak, because we still wanted to do the hard work and meet those folks where they're at.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think business mentorship was huge in terms of us kind of figuring out how to funnel like our clientele and who even we wanted to target from an audience standpoint. So I think that was like huge, like in terms of, pouring into us as new business owners who aren't sure if this is even going to be something that leaders are open to receiving. Because as you said, it can be hard to admit failure. It can be hard to acknowledge, I'm not perfect. I don't have all the answers. So I definitely think having the guidance and mentorship from people like Gwen Weber-McLeod and Cal Corridors was huge in us being able to not only have the confidence and like feel like, okay, we got this, right? But to also navigate some of the things that kind of came up and to be able to continue to have those conversations to say, okay, this is kind of how you can, meet certain organizations where they're at, or they had different opportunities that they said, hey, do you want to collaborate? Do you want to partner? Y'all are still kind of getting your feet wet. Join me, right? And that gave us not only experience, but, exposure and, kind of the reps of, how partnership and collaboration and, having that like, community, right, was like very, it ended up being like a huge impact just in our journey and in our confidence.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. I think business mentorship is so powerful. You mentioned Ms. Gwen Weber-McLeod, Calvin Corridors, Melanie Littlejohn, Vicki Brackens. The list goes on and on and on.
Right.
And I feel like we found ourselves. I'm not sure how old you guys are, but I think you're about my age. But we found ourselves sort of being in the realm, and they have found themselves too, which is interesting, being those, having that role with us, and I know it's sort of new for us and it's sort of new for them. So I love that we're coming together and we're having these conversations and not being stingy with information or also not being guarded with sharing that information with the leaders in our community to get more. And if I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying that, so your target audience now is nonprofits, mid-level career nonprofits. If a corporation wants to come work with you guys, you do training inside of those corporations? And then also to sort of stack this question, tell me the core of your services that you provide with OurGlass, because I think I sort of skipped over that.
No,
It's all good.
it's all good.
Yes.
So we do work with nonprofits, but we also offer our services to corporations or the private sector. And so our core services consist of 4 services and 1 product that we created. The first services is workshops. So we do leadership development workshops, which is a half-day or full-day workshop. We also do program evaluation. So with Arlaina's qualitative research methodologies and my quantitative research methodologies, we combine that to really evaluate leadership programs as well. And so again, right, adding value to support other people who are doing this work, as well as organizations who are trying to create things internally. So that's our second service. The third service is the custom leadership development program, which is can range anywhere between 6 to 8 weeks to 6 months, working with an organization or company to really customize an organizational leadership development program that they can utilize on an ongoing basis, and whether they have the people power internally to kind of sustain that, or they need an outside consultant or third-party consultant to come in and kind of do that every year and keep it updated with what's going on in their industry or with the management challenges that they're facing. So that's the fourth service is like a speaking engagement. So coming into doing, things like retreats, whether it's a corporate retreat or you need like a team retreat, or you're having an annual meeting. Or just coming to speak to a college and talking to some kids and delivering some inspiration on what to expect when they enter the workforce. And then I'll let Arlaina tell about the product that we created, the off-the-shelf solution.
Yeah, so we call it our off-the-shelf solution. It's essentially like a card deck, discussion card deck.
I love those card decks.
Yes, right?
Nice.
I love them too. So I was like, how can we actually incorporate this into a workplace setting? And it asks a series of questions that not only kind of tailor to the outcomes that we drive, but also are very much relationship based, right? A lot of times we're showing up to spaces and places, and we don't always feel like we can be our full selves, but there's also sometimes not an opportunity for us to kind of ask questions about ourselves and build those relationships and actually have that, culture of compassion and care with the people that you work with. Sometimes it's not all, it shouldn't be all about productivity and metrics and the bottom lines. It should be about purpose and connecting and really feeling like you're in a space where you feel like you can belong, right? So we kind of developed this discussion card deck. I think it's about, we're kind of trying to figure out.
140 cards.
Yeah, right now it's 140. So that could be 2 decks. We're kind of trying to, but they kind of ask a series of questions that just, you can incorporate it in a team meeting. You can incorporate it in like supervisions or however. And it's just really meant to, have open discussion about topics that might not naturally come up in a space, to kind of create intention around building relationships and making sure that there can be connection in the workplace in addition to, like work productivity and things of that sort. So how do we make it fun?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
So we are coming to an end, but I have a couple questions. Okay. One, I want to do a quick testimonial in that camera right there. Yes. So I went to these workshops. I went to one of the workshops and it is absolutely amazing. Honestly, I saw they had one, it was sold out so quick that the next one that came up, I just saw their face and I registered, but I didn't know what it was about. I just knew that I wanted to be in that number, right? So I just want to commend you on the content. The atmosphere was amazing. I don't know who made the food, but that was good too. And I'm looking forward to more in the future, for sure. And anything that you guys have coming up. You guys have a great symbiotic like energy with each other that resonates, and that it really drops into like give you a better understanding of whatever the topic is that you're talking about. So I appreciate that from both of you.
Yeah.
Really appreciate that.
Yeah. And the fly on the wall you know, if somebody's watching this, is where's Arlaina's hair? And I want to touch on that because you had very signature coils, you know, darling. They were like Rapunzel, you know? And so they're not there anymore. But they, like, your whole aura and everything with it not there and with their hair out short is beautiful, and it is like signature. It's like a new signature.
Oh my gosh,
and we know that when we cut our hair, we release.
Yes.
Yeah.
What has been the biggest thing that you felt of a release from when upon doing that and since doing it?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, thank you. I appreciate that. I received that. I would say my biggest release has really been holding on to, or working on letting go, I should say, of expectations and pressure. I think that just given the nature of my experiences, my background, my trauma, all of the things, I tend to carry so much. I'm an empath, can be very, introspective and introverted. So I think for me, cutting my hair was very much a shedding of who I felt like people wanted me to be or expected me to be, and just kind of leaning into, like, what does joy and light look like for Arlaina?
Yes.
And not necessarily with it being in service to others, but in service to myself. So I think for me, I am someone who I feel like has been just really good at, like, shrinking or, maybe dimming my light or taking on a role of like, oh, I'm just kind of behind the scenes. I just kind of want to support. So leadership isn't necessarily something that has always come natural to me, but I think people have maybe expected that or relied on my work ethic and the talents that I bring to take on that role. And so now I'm figuring out in what ways I can lead for myself, in what ways I can pour into myself and what ways I can stop hiding, right? Full face, I got my face here,
Yes.
And I think that was the beauty for me. Just feeling lighter, being able to feel my energy, being able to check in with myself, and kind of just let go of, all the weight that I feel like I was carrying, or that I feel like I'm still carrying. And just really step into myself, without the shame, without the judgment, just love, compassion, and having strength without feeling like I have to be strong all the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, happy birthday.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. This was such a gift, such a blessing.
Happy birthday. And I thought you guys were married already, just off of your energy, but but you guys are getting married next year.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And congratulations on that before it even happens. But
Yes.
that's going to be an amazing union. You guys is next level. I'm going to be watching you guys.
Thank you.
Like, for real.
Yes, absolutely.
And one of the things I want to say is thank you to you for all the work that you do, not just for us and folks like us, but in the community at large. Your presence and your energy and the way you show up for the culture.
Thank you.
I know you got Q's culture, but like generally, you show up for the culture in such a big way. And we said it before the show started in terms of our first event that we went to together was the event that you had.
That was the first event for you guys together?
Well, that was the first event that we went to together of a Q's Culture event.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I was
So-
like, what? Got you.
So that was our first. That was like our first time, like out in the Syracuse community, like, and it was really nice.
I'm glad you enjoyed yourself.
The spaces that you cultivate for people to really just feel like themselves, but also create genuine connection. I've met so many people in Syracuse from Q's Culture events or spaces that you're cultivating. So love the work that you do, and I'm sure this is going to be no different in terms of bringing so much light and love and inspiration to people. So thank you.
Thank you. So we like to end with a quote.
Okay.
And let us know your favorite quote. Who wants to go first?
what you're not changing, you're choosing. I would say that's the most recent thing that I feel has been so applicable to just life in general.
Yeah.
In terms of just giving ourselves the ownership and the power to choose what we feel like is right for us. And that's not something that I've always felt, but have definitely lately been leaning very radically into.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's a really good question. I got so many that's floating. I'm trying to choose the best one. But one of my books that I try to read every year is The Alchemist.
I knew you were going to say The Alchemist. Oh, Paul Coelho.
Right.
Hops up all the time.
You know what I mean?
It's such a journey.
But it really does epitomize what the journey has been like for me in my life. And it's whatever you want, the world really does conspire to give that to you.
Conspires, yes, it does.
And so I think that revolves around energy, like where you direct your energy to, where you direct your thoughts to. And yeah, I just try to make sure that that's geared towards uplifting people, my family, my friends, and then just people in general, but also just taking love and light with me wherever I go.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, thank you both.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
thank you.
And
It was a
enjoy
pleasure.
the rest of your day.
Thank you. We will.
All